Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. That's Friday Homeschool. I am Mrs. T. I can't believe it, but this is our mid-year wrap-up. I have all of my notes over here and I am just ready to hop right into it with you. I wanted to share with you because this past school year has been my first year that we are homeschooling, and I have learned so much about myself as a parent, as a teacher, as a person. And my kid has learned a lot, and we have changed a lot of the way that we approach learning at home just in such a small amount of time. I look at my first curriculum video 8 months ago because we started in May, and then I look at the updated video that came out 5 months ago, and then the one that came out 2 months ago, and then where we are today, and our journey is very clear. We have had a lot of changes here, and we have had a lot of success. So I want to share it with you. I want to talk about the things that I've learned. So let's go into it. Thing number one that I learned is actually about me, which has really affected our homeschooling. And that is that I am a wave person. What I mean about that is I kind of go up. I'm really great at doing things, and then I dip, and it's really hard for me to do things. And I've always been this way, even at home, like making food, for example. I'm really good and I'll be on point for making food at home, these great meals, and then suddenly I crash and I don't want to make anything. I just want to eat Taco Bell, and I just want to eat Taco Bell for a little while, and then we go up and go down and go up and go down, and I go in waves. And I found that to be true with my homeschooling. So when I was coming up with my schedule, I created the schedule considering mostly curriculum recommendations. I did not consider my child's, I didn't really know how my child was going to react, but I didn't really consider what my child was going to be able to do each day, but also what me as the teacher, what I was going to be able to do, not only day to day, but considering those weeks. Or those waves, I should say. So to kind of help address that, there were two big things I started doing. One is I modified my schedule almost entirely, and this was a slow progression to get where we are, and it's finally working where we are. But essentially what we do is we do our curriculum Monday and Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Wednesday is like a lighter, not so much on the curriculum, because that's going to be our catch-up if we need it, but also just a little bit of a break. Now, we still do a lot of learning, and I'll talk about our learning that we do outside of curriculum, because boy, I way underestimated the amount of learning that was going to come not from curriculum. It's crazy. But the second thing, speaking of curriculum, that I did to help accommodate my own schedule, my own waves, was that we really simplified our curriculum, which brings me to our second thing that I kind of learned this past couple of months, is that simple is best. And this is coming from the place of a preschool homeschooling mom. So I understand later years that might change, but right now, simple is best. So the thing is I found so many amazing resources. I really did. And I purchased a lot of amazing resources, but I don't have the time nor the capacity to implement them all the way that they're meant to be used or leverage them all. And I was getting overwhelmed. So I found actually that for us, what has been the best groove is basically a total of 30 minutes of instruction each day. So we do every day 10 minutes of math. Mathematical reasoning, beginning level 2 is what we're working through right now with my preschooler. And we actually have started beginning level 1 with my toddler as well. And we kind of go back and forth. Toddler really wants to be involved in homeschooling, so we have started involving him. We also are using Hooked on Phonics right now. So we're using level 1 with both my toddler and my preschooler. And then we are going through level 3 with my preschooler as well. So 10 minutes of instruction. And then 10 minutes of basically writing practice or fine motor. So for that, we either use the Explode the Code series, or I do take worksheets from one of the thousands of workbooks that we have now, and we just do a couple of worksheet practices, which are going to be basically writing, cutting, pasting, that kind of stuff, coloring, so easy things. outside of that curriculum, though, I have found that mostly our days are spent exploring outside, visiting local places, learning at museums and zoos. We do a lot of reading, as you guys know from my other content, and we play a lot of puzzles and games, and I will give more information about that. I definitely have noticed that we are more of a game schooler family than we are a traditional curriculum sort of family. And we learned rule number 3 here, or thing number 3, is that play by far is the most important part. That is what my child has learned the most through. And I feel like I way underestimated how much we were going to learn through play and how much we could teach through play. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that we, like our favorite, I think I have 4 things that I was like astounded at how much we've learned through. Toys. So the first thing are these miniature figurines. I'll put a picture of, I forgot to grab them. So I'll take a picture of some of them that we have, but they're just little miniature plastic figurines of animals, bugs, dinosaurs. We play with those almost every single day. We use them for our math. We use them for science. We use them for just general play. We use them for everything. Everything. We've tested weight. We've tested floating and sinking. We've used them in our phonics when we're practicing sounds. We use them all the time, and my kids love these figurines. They are always pulling them out, and we have done a lot of natural learning through their play and their desire to play with these toys. The second thing are puzzles and games. We do puzzles and games a lot. I'll have a lot more videos talking about this content here in a little bit, but puzzles and games, it's incredible how much you can pick up through that. And then number 2, blocks. Oh my gosh, blocks. We have a set of blocks, you guys, that came from my husband's mom. They were hers growing up, and they were somebody else's when she was growing up too. So like they were secondhand at that time. They are well loved. They are not pretty, but my kids spend so much time problem solving, coming up with natural like physics inquiries on their own. Like, so they were testing ramps. We had more successful conversations about things, again, like ramps and friction, that they started asking through playing with blocks. Also how to make stable structures. Like, it is really incredible how much comes from just general blocks and playing. And we've had some really great conversations that just came naturally. And a lot of it is just being attuned. So like to what they're saying and then sparking that conversation. And then the last thing that toy-wise that has been a huge just learning opportunity is an opportunity to play dress up. My kids have capes and superhero masks. They have firefighting hats. They have chimney sweep costumes from Halloween. They have a number of things, old clothes, necklaces, wands, so many things. Rings, I think. We've got a couple of rings in there. They love playing dress up, and they love being other people, and they love testing, making kind choices and making not so kind choices while playing dress up. And a lot of social and emotional growth have come from them emulating good behavior and bad behavior while being somebody else. And then they take off the cape and they're them, which is like kind of crazy. There's been a lot of growth and exploration of our emotions and our feelings, and then just general great play, great exercise. We've learned about people in the community through this. We've got like a little doctor thing. They love playing doctor. It's been great. It's been great. It's a really good tool for learning. Okay. One thing, my next thing that I've learned, you guys, is no matter how much curriculum you have, no matter what your vision is, there will be gaps. And I had to, like, I don't know why it hit me this past year. It was like, I can't do it all. We can't. And then I took a look at like the public schools, the private schools. There will be gaps for every single person out there, every student, no matter how they're being educated, there will be gaps. There is too much knowledge. There are too many different ways to learn, and there are too many different bits of curriculum that focus on different things. there's no way you can cover it all. You really can't. And I really started to accept that. And once I started to accept that, it removed this big pressure because I was trying to do too much. I was trying to get as much in there as possible to, make sure I wasn't missing anything. But I'm going to. My kid is going to. I missed things. I don't know a lot of things that other people might know. And the thing is my child will know things that other kids don't know, and other kids are going to know things that he doesn't know, and that is okay. And coming to that realization and accepting that was really big this past year for us. Now, one of the things I also learned is there is a way to close some of those gaps and address those gaps in a fun way. So, for example, French and sign language, we've started, rather than really making it a part of our curriculum, which I was really hoping to do, I realized I didn't have the capacity for it, so I moved it more toward when we watch TV, we watch videos that feature sign language, or we watch them in French, which is going to tie me to my next topic, which is thing that I learned, number 5, is that the television is a tool, and it's an acceptable tool. There is a lot of guilt that I felt at the beginning with, and I still sort of do, I'll be honest. I'm struggling with this a little bit. But there was a lot of guilt that I felt about using television. There's just so much negative opinions out there, and I really did not want to be one of those people that put my children in front of the TV. That being said, I did realize pretty quickly that I, again, took on too much. I'm working full time and my kids are going to daycare, but even so, when they come back, I have meetings and I have other things that I have to wrap up because they're only at daycare for a few hours. So I get a few hours of work without them, and then I focus on them, but occasionally life is happening. Occasionally I want to make a more elaborate dinner. Occasionally I have to get laundry done. We can't go around naked. So occasionally I need to do the TV. And then occasional turned into more frequent. And then I started to panic. And that's when I realized I needed to take a step back and realize that the television is just another tool. There's nothing wrong with using it to supplement education while you are doing something else. So, I definitely, I want to say I'm not using it as like a nanny. I don't think that your TV can watch your children, and I don't think you should be, I don't think I say you, but mostly it's about me. I don't want my children to be sitting in front of the TV all day, but there's nothing wrong with them sitting down for an hour and watching a program while I'm doing the things that I have to get done. So I wanted to share with you some of our favorite programs that we watched as well this past year that I thought were really great educationally. First was Super Y. This is a phonics program. It's free on the PBS Kids app, the television app, and they rotate the episodes every week, and those have been great. They even have like a Super Y comic episode, and or a show, and those are 2 or 3 minutes long. They're not very long at all, but basically you just solve a problem using phonics and reading, and I thought that my kid has learned a lot. Every time they watch Super Y, both of them are interactive with the TV and they are getting involved. The other thing that we have been watching and exploring is Reading Rainbow. I know it's a little bit outdated, but who doesn't like LeVar Burton? He's great, you guys. And sometimes what we do after we watch Reading Rainbow is I take notes of the books that are recommended by the kids, as well as the books that they cover, and we try to pick them up from the library. And we've been able to have some really good exploration. They cover science topics, they cover math, they cover, ecology a little bit, they cover reading, of course, and everything in between, kindness, community. They cover all sorts of things, and that's been one of those shows that I'm okay with them sitting down. Like I feel like they're learning, so that's okay. The next episode, or the next TV program that we watch, is Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but we watch it in French. I really had a hard time finding easily accessible programs in French. And there are things like you know, Babar and Kailu, there's Smurfs, things like that that are on YouTube, but I wanted it really simple. I thought they were a little too advanced for our level, and the cartoons weren't as like pause and slow speaking, if that makes sense. So Mickey Mouse Clubhouse has been a really good way for us to get some French exposure and close that French gap. Another thing that we like is basically anything David Attenborough, so that we have like Planet Earth, we have The Hunt, Frozen Planet, Blue Planet, I think there's one called Dynasties. We have cherry-picked episodes from those different ones, and we watch them as a family, and we have learned a lot, and it's peaceful, it's educational, and that really has, I think, also fed into their love of playing with those little animal figurines. So it is really, I don't know, it's been a really good one to watch. The next one is Daniel Tiger, which is also on the PBS app. That one has been really good with teaching social and emotional control and kindness. We definitely struggle a little bit with our feelings, and we're still working through things like that. And Daniel Tiger has been a good way for us to learn about some tough feelings and situations, as maybe some stuff that's scary and new. That's been a really good thing. We like occasionally watching Daniel Tiger. And then the last thing would be just general Sesame Street. My kids are starting to not be as interested in Sesame Street, but for this past long time, you throw on a Sesame Street episode and they're usually very engaged. It covers math, it covers social and emotional, you learn about community people. It's very, I mean, everybody knows about Sesame Street. It's been around for as long as it has because it is so educational, positive, and they also have been working to be more diverse and inclusive. So I've been very pleased with that as an option. Okay, the last bit of this video here is I want to share with you what we do in a typical day. Now, every day is going to be different. Our play is going to be different. Our exploring is different. So some days we play only like a single game and we're outside a lot. But this past week, the weather has been horrible. Daycare was closed. Roads were closed. It was wild. We had some pretty bad weather. So we played more games than typical, but some days are like this. Again, we're very wavy as a family. I'm very wavy, so some days are like way game heavy. So yesterday, what we did, and I would consider this a typical homeschool day, is we did 10 minutes of Explode the Code, 10 minutes of math, and 10 minutes of level 1 phonics. We ended up not doing any level 3 hooked on phonics. We just did level 1 yesterday. We also played a lot of games. So I'm going to show you the games that we used, but know that all of these games are going to be talked about in a future video. I'm going to give a lot more information. But we did the Match the Sound Beginning Sounds Phonics game from Lakeshore Learning. We did that with both preschooler and toddlers, so that kind of emphasized some of our phonics. We popped some real popcorn, and then we played Pop for Letters. This is a learning resources phonics game, and we did it. My toddler was recognizing the letters themselves, while preschooler was focusing more on the sounds that each letter makes. All right, the next thing that we did is we actually did this rock and mineral bingo game that we got from National Geographic not too long ago. It's just a rock identification sort of bingo game. My kids love it, and then it comes with little rocks that you use to cover the spots. And they really enjoy that. We played that one as well. Now, we needed a little bit of help cleaning up, and usually cleaning up is not a problem, but they were very excited to move from game to game. And so we actually decided to use this game, which we got from my mom for Christmas, called Extremely Messy Room Challenge. It's a Berenstain Bears game. It comes with a timer, and your child has to go through and try to clean up as many things that's described in the card in the duration of the timer. So we did that game as well. We were struggling a little bit with emotions. So we did a couple cards from the I Hurt Your Feelings Ebu game here. I don't know if you can call this a game, but they are little cards, and you basically help work through different scenarios in there. Okay, next game that we played yesterday is called Context Clues. It's a pirate treasure game. my child is not reading it. It's meant for a higher level, but he is so good at figuring out vocabulary through this game. So basically you go through, and if your child lands on a gem, they have to read a card. I read it out loud, and there's going to be an underlined vocabulary word, or there's going to be a blank space, and it comes with a multiple choice, and your child has to determine what the word means or what's missing, and using the context clues. Preschooler is so good at this game, and we've learned so much. I love it. I love it. Okay, and then the last game. Oh no, this isn't the last one. The next game that we did is Penguins on Ice. We basically used these counters to solidify some of the preschool math at home. We were working through lessons 1 through 5, a review, those first 5 chapters. And we were just using those as different markers, different counters for various activities through there. And then they also played with those a lot. So they also played with their dinosaurs. They played with a lot of things yesterday as well. But they did one of their favorite puzzles. I don't have the pieces, obviously. But it is this wooden United States puzzle from Lakeshore Learning. This was the puzzle they did yesterday. Preschooler and toddler, well, preschooler can do it by himself, no problem. Toddler needs a little bit of help, but we also worked a little bit on I Spy with this game. So once they put it together, I would say I spy with my little eye, Texas, and they would have to find Texas or what have you. We don't know all of our states. We know the very distinctive looking states like California, Alaska, we know Idaho, we know Florida. So we know a handful of them, but we don't know all of them. And every time we try to add a little bit more. Okay, so outside of that, we also worked a little bit on one of our knowledge crate activities. So we painted the background for our penguin activity, which we have ready to go for either today or tomorrow. So we did the background. And then we did a lot of reading. We did do Daniel Tiger, Friends Help Each Other. It's an early reader. We pulled up an old Ranger Rick Cub magazine. This one is about a panda. We did this one, and then we went partway through one, I believe, about rabbits. We read a number of books from this one. We did Wacky Wednesday, which comes with almost an I Spy aspect to that book. And then we also did I Wish I Had Duck Feet, and then they kind of looked through this one on their own. We did The Wind Blew, Room on the Broom, The Snail and the Whale, and then we also read this lovely book from Usborne twice. Yesterday we were having a little bit of a hard time with identifying emotions, so we did this book, and I'm going to talk all about this book in another video, along with other things that we use with feelings, talking about feelings. And then the last 2 things that we really did yesterday, every day we do our affirmation at dinner time with Dad as well. And we do a sing-a-song 2 seasons, or of seasons, not 2, sing-a-song of seasons. So we did the nature poem from yesterday as well.
We also watched an episode of My Go focusing on Blippi.
So that was all of what I would call our enriching stuff that we did. A lot. We did a lot. And what's crazy is the curriculum itself and the actual instruction was this much of our day. But we did so much, and we played. They also had independent play. We also played Pikmin as a family. We're doing Pikmin on Nintendo Switch. We played Pikmin, and they helped solve some of those problems and the issues on there. We had fun. We also had our downs where we were struggling a little bit with emotions, and we used our books, and we used our games and our conversation to kind of get through it. And all in all, you guys, I would say that was a pretty typical homeschooling day. Again, curriculum was this much of our day. And I have really learned over the past, handful of months that learning comes in all shapes and sizes, and it's okay that we don't get through a bunch of curriculum. So anyway, you guys, that is it. That is our mid-year wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below what you think. I have really learned a lot. I'm still learning, And I cannot wait to tell you more about our journey, because it has been just so rewarding, so hard, but so rewarding, and I can't wait to share more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great, wonderful second half of the school year. Bye, everyone.